Well, welcome back. We got the buckets filled with dirt, and now we're going to talk about amending the soil the way I do it. Now again, I am not the expert gardening with Leon. He's got 60 years probably or more of experience of growing stuff, so I'm just a beginner. I started this before I really found out about how he does it, so there's just some things I do a little bit different, but it's natural stuff, blood meal, bone meal, and of course his sustain. It's a turkey feather and chicken manure compost in a pellet form, and you just put a little bit on the dirt. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to plant some tomatoes, and then we'll see how they're doing. All right, let's get started. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Leon uses sustain. It's a chicken manure and turkey feather compost, I believe, and he puts about a cup in top of his soil, just right in here. And I'm gonna put about a cup. Now I know how much that is. That's about a cup. All right. And then he added some mineral salt. Now this is dehydrated sea mineral salt. And put about half as much of that in there as that. Now, I grew up, and I could be wrong. If you listen to Leon, he is the expert. He's been doing it a whole lot longer than I have. But I know I'm going to be putting some tomatoes in here, and I'm going to add some bone meal at the top. Just kind of sprinkle that around. I want the calcium that's in this and the phosphate to give me a good root. Help my roots out on my little tomatoes. And then also every country boy ought to have a knife in his pocket. I do. See? I didn't like it. Get all the nutrients. Epsom salt. Epsom salt. Just plain Epsom salt. I got it at Fred's. Alright. Okay. Then we just take our hands and we get it mixed in there pretty good. I sure like the way that looks. If looks matter, that sure looks good. It may not be worth a hoot. Now, you don't do it right away, but you want to baby your plants up when you put them in there. Take care of them. Give them a little bit of extra attention, which is what the fertilize is doing here. The sustain and that's a slow release. I may have mentioned that earlier. But during the year we're going to water, and every time we water, I have a jug of natural source water soluble fertilizer, and I'm going to feed it a tablespoon every time I water. And that'll give it feed during the season. But you only have to do this part one time. And that bucket is ready to put plants in. So, to recap, cut your pipe. I make mine 6 inches just because I want the water retention. I want that much water. It ends up being about 5 gallons of water with the weeping hole. If it rains and comes through and goes down into the bottom through that landscaping fabric, then if it gets too much, it'll leak out that weeping hole. It'll fill up to that weeping hole, leaving me an inch gap so that the roots don't sit in the water when these things grow. So Leon says that at this stage you only have to water about once every 2 weeks. When they start to growing and really sucking water, then you may have to water every week, and maybe sometimes maybe even more. But anyway, that's the way I do it. Now, go watch Gardening with Leon, episode 1, and he'll teach you all about it. He's the expert, so I don't know if that dirt's going to do good or not. We're going to give it a try. All right, let's put some tomatoes in. Put some tomatoes in. Dip them in a little water here. This is a Dester tomato. This is a black, let me see, true black brandywine. I think that's a cherry. I don't know. We're going to dig a hole here pretty deep. I don't want to bury these. These have been out for a while, so we're gonna bury those pretty deep. There we go, right there. You can bury a tomato, I've learned, well I knew. They'll make its root anything that's below the dirt. So we trimmed off the leaves, and we're going to bury these pretty darn deep. Deep as we can get them without sticking, just leave the tops out. What I got over here is a bucket of water that's soaking that. Alright. Go ahead and trim him off. And if you see here, all of this stem, you'll get roots on it. So, there we go. We just dump that back down in there and cover him up. Alright, there's 4. Let me get another one. There's a Paul R tomato. I don't know what that is. We're going to bury him kind of deep. Rainwater. That's God's water there. Just sit a minute. I'm going to pinch this one off right here. Okay. Pull him out. Uh-oh. I think I buried my tags on those Desters. One of them was a Dester. One of them was a Bradley. I think it's down in that dirt. I want him to go a little bit farther. Alright, there we go. Right there. I can live with that. Alright. Well, water that in, and we'll grow tomatoes. Maybe. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm going to build a few more. That's kind of how we do it. Alright, that's how we got the buckets filled and tomatoes in them. I'll check back with you next week. Put out one of how everything's doing. We'll do the update probably Sunday morning. And we'll see how everything's going. I'm excited to show you something. But you have to wait till the end to see it. So, anyway, I am, that's how I do the wicking buckets all the way. Just remember, you can use any size pipe. You can use a lot of different things. I've seen Leon do cans and milk jugs, but you got to have the air gap. You got to drill holes in. If it's sealed up, you got to drill holes in so the water get in, but you got to have an inch from the dirt. The main part of the dirt. Cover it with landscaping fabric so that you don't get any dirt in your void, in your reservoir. You want separation, you want that air gap so that the roots can prune themselves. Fill it up with your dirt. Use your dirt. I use some of Leon's stuff. I've used potting soil. I used some Bacto potting soil. I used peat moss. And I've used black cow manure and just regular plain manure, cheap stuff. I'm learning. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited about what's going on. I'm looking at the tomatoes now. You can tell by my shirt that that I've made this video in 3 or 4 different parts because of my work schedule, and I'm editing today, so I apologize for any floops on the videos. My editor, she has a full-time job too. The honey works hard at it. She is, but we're learning about this, the technical aspect of all that. Up until recently, a computer was nothing more than a paperweight on my desk, so I barely knew how to turn it on. We're excited about what's growing and what's happening. I'm excited about eating some good fresh tomatoes, and I've already eaten some lettuce and radishes, and I've even got one little pepper that I had. So man, I am excited about it. I want to plant some more stuff. I've still got some more stuff to plant, some strawberries and some more tomatoes. So we'll see how everything goes. Listen, you are loved more than you know, and grow where you're planted. We'll see you on the next video. Alright, it is Friday afternoon, almost dark. I need to hurry up and get this in. I built a few more buckets. I put the amended them in there, and I'm going to fertilize them. Some of them for the first time, but you do them all the same way every time. About once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on the weather. It's been hot. What I have in this cup is some Nature Source soluble, water soluble liquid fertilizer. And it doesn't take much, but you want to feed these plants every time you water them. So you take a tablespoon and you put it in the pipe. And that's what you do. Take a tablespoon, put it in each pipe. And it don't matter if you get a little bit on the ground, it'll all get ate up. Take a tablespoon and put it in each pot. Alright, now once you got them done, and you fill that bucket up. Now, I don't know if you can see it from where my camera lady is doing, but right here on the bottom, right at the bottom of this pipe, there is a weeping hole. Can you see that? Maybe you can see it. Anyway, what you do is real easy. Again, I've got a small little thing here. It'd be better if you had an 1.5 inch pipe, but I had this laying around, so we're gonna fill that up. It takes a little bit. And if you angled it right, you can tell the difference. Can you hear that? You got it closed off the bottom, and now it's flowing out in the bottom. Just keep an eye on that weeping hole, and you'll know how much to put in. Once it starts leaking out, you'll be good to go. All right, everybody watching? You watching? Here we go. See it coming out? Can you see it coming out? There you go, see it? It's flowing out. All right, now that bottom of that bucket's got about 5 gallons of water in the bottom, maybe 5.5. Come in. 37 tomato plants, I think we counted. Now, at the greeting meet in Oklahoma, the tomato guy said that he was getting 35 pounds of tomatoes off of each tomato plant. If I get 30, I don't do math on the internet or on YouTube. So you tell me what 35 times 37 is going to be. If I have that many tomatoes, I'll be calling somebody to come help me get some tomatoes. We may have filled them up with water, but it's coming out already, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Give them a little drink on top. One thing about that rice hull, it looks. You dig down in there and moisture's just right underneath the surface. So, all right, that's it for that. I'll bring you back Sunday morning, and I'm going to show you some. I'm going to finish watering everything. I'm going to show you a surprise Sunday morning. I'm excited. The honey's excited, but you got to wait till then. We'll see.